Hello and welcome back for the second of our summer series of workouts. Today we're going to focus on our glutes. So before we start, we're just going to do a little bit of a warm-up, do some work on hip dissociations, moving the hip separately of our spine. So starting off lying on our backs, usual rest position, start with the feet together, let the toes turn out to bring the feet hip width apart, thighs are parallel, lumbar spine in neutral. So a small curve in the lower part of the back of the head heavy into the floor or into cushions. You can use a folded up towel to pop underneath your head. And just think about lovely neutral position, imaginary spirit level across the hip bones. We're taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, open one knee to the side for hip twist level 1. Breathe in, return to the start position. Switch to the other side. So today's session's all about hips, working all the muscles around about the hips. This first exercise is just working through hip dissociation, being able to move our hip, move the leg independently of the trunk and the spine. So nice and gentle, arms and shoulders beautifully relaxed. Breathe out to open, breathe in to close. Let's do last one to each side, before we then really start to focus on those glutes muscles. Perfect. We're going to roll onto our sides and think about your head positioning. You've got two options. You can use a smaller cushion or a smaller folded up towel. Arm out, stretch and pop that underneath your head. Or if your neck's not very comfortable, you can use something bigger, a cushion from your sofa or a pillow. Pop that underneath your head with your arms in front of you. Just go for whatever feels most comfortable for you. So I'm going to go for the smaller one, arm out stretched. And before we start, we just need to think about our neutral position in a lying position. So our hips and shoulders are stacked, so one shoulder directly on top of the other, one hip directly on top of the other. The heels are together and they are in line with your sit bones. So it's an angle of about 45 degrees through your hip. Now before we start, think about the alignment through the waist. The upper waist should be an even shape to the lower waist. So you need to stretch through the uppermost hip and you'll feel lightness coming through the underneath ribs. Try and maintain that position there. So we're going to start with clam. We're taking a breath in, clam level 1, breathe out, squeeze that top knee open, breathe in to lower. Breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. If you want to go for level 2, you can lift those heels up off the floor. Carry on lifting and lowering. So remember with this, you want to think about the alignment through the hips. Don't let yourself roll backwards through the hips as that top knee opens. Imagine you've got a glass of water or a glass of gin and tonic sitting on that top hip. Make sure nothing's spilling. Shoulders stay nice and relaxed. You can have your hand on that top hip, or you can have it just resting in front of you, just for a little bit of balance if you feel that you're wobbling at all. This is all looking lovely, so keep going just for a little bit longer. And then what we're going to do is hold this at the top of this movement and do 5 little pulses. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. And again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. One more set of those. 5 pulses. 4, 3, 2, 1. Knee comes down, heels come down. Give it a quick rub or a stretch if you need to. So we're going to move on. Straighten out the legs. So this time legs are not absolutely straight, they're forward about 10 to 20 degrees. Again, thinking about the alignment through the waist. A little bit of a lift through the underneath side of the waist. And we're going to do leg lifts. So taking a breath in to prepare, breathe out. Top leg comes up, underneath leg to join it. Breathe in, lower them both down together. Top leg, underneath leg, lowering down. Now remember, upper side of the waist should be quite relaxed. We don't want to see lots of movement coming through that waist. So if you feel it's a struggle to get the underneath leg lifting off the floor, what you can do is let the top leg drop forward onto a cushion and just lift the underneath leg. So we're working the inner thigh muscles with this one. So we're going to do last 3, 2, and this time we're going to hold that top leg up there for lift and lower. So breathing out with the foot pointed to lift the leg up, breathe in, flex the ankle to lower. If you need to take a rest, obviously just take a rest. But if you want to build the endurance of those hip muscles, just keep on going. You're very welcome to lift the underneath side of the waist if you want, the underneath leg, just to keep everything working a little bit harder. So pointing the ankle to lift, flexing the ankle to lower. As with the other ones, you can have your hand in front for balance, or you can lift and hold it onto the upper nose side of the waist. We're going to do our last 3, 2, 1. Lower the underneath leg. We're going to do side kick. Foot pointed, coming forward. You can't see that very well on this film. Breathe in, return that leg back to the start position. So breathing out to come forward, breathing in to return. This is side kick. This is side kick level 3. If you want to make it a little bit more gentle, you can bend the underneath leg and pop your hand in front. That's level 2. Making it a little bit easier again, bend the top knee. So go for whichever level feels like it's the right level for you. Try to keep thinking about that waist if you can. If you want to work just that little bit harder again, lift the underneath leg. And we're doing our last 3, 2, 1, and relax. Underneath leg down, top leg down. We're popping over onto our backs. If you feel you'd like to just give your glutes a quick stretch out, then pop your left leg over your right thigh, pull towards you, and you should feel that stretching in the glutes on that left side, the uppermost side that you've been working. So just holding it there just for a minute or 2, and then we're going to pop our feet back down again. A little bit of a more challenging exercise. So we're coming up for our leg pull supine. So our supine plank. We're bringing the hands behind. You can either have your fingertips pointing towards your toes or hands out to the side. Lift up. Don't let yourself start slumped. So we're up nice and tall. We're taking a breath in to prepare. And as we breathe out, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the legs together to lift up into our straight line position. Head stays pointing forward. Breath in to hold. Breathe out to lower down. Breath in to prepare. Breathing out to lift. If that feels like that's too much of a load through your shoulders, you can pop yourself down onto your forearms. Slightly longer lever, but it's just a bit nicer for the wrists and for the shoulders. So breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, come back up into our upright position, breathing out to lift, bending the knee, extending, keep those hips lifted. So keep going with whichever level's right for you. We're going to do 2 more to each side with the leg slide. And then last one. Lowering ourselves back down again. And a quick change to the other side. So we're going back to our clam exercise. Knees bent, hips stacked, top hip stretched away, heels together. Breath in to prepare, breathe out, squeeze the top knee, breathe in to lower. Breathe out to lift, breathe in to lower. Keep thinking about the waist, little gap there. If you want to work a bit harder, lift those heels. So you should be feeling that in your hip back pocket area of your top hip. working the posterior fibres of our glute max muscle, or glute med muscle, sorry. So we're going to do some little pulses. So holding the knee there, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. Keep those heels lifted. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Heels down. Give yourself a quick stretch if you need to. So legs are lengthened away. I'm just going to shuffle a little bit so you can see my feet. We're doing a leg lift. So breath in to prepare. Breathe out to lift, lift, and lower. Only lifting as far as you can without the ankle turning in, the underneath ankle. Make sure it's not doing that. And without the whole waist collapsing underneath. So we want the movement to be coming from the hip muscles, not from our waist muscles up here doing the work. Remember when we did the other side? If it's an effort to lift that underneath leg up, if you're not able to maintain that neutral position, let your top leg drop forward onto a cushion and just lift the underneath side. So you'll still get the work going on through the hip adductors, the inner thigh muscles. Okay, so the next time we lift up, we're going to hold it there. Take a breath in, breathe out, foot pointed to lift, flex to lower. Point to lift, flex to lower. If you want to lift the underneath side, you can do. So working a bit more through this uppermost hip now. Hand position wherever comfortable for you. You'll be starting to feel this really working in the uppermost thigh muscle. Keep thinking about your waist. Okay, we're going to let the underneath leg come down. Take a breath in to hold. Breathe out, come forward with the foot pointed for side kick. Breathe in to return. As with the other side, you've got all your options. If you're wobbling around all over the place, let that underneath knee bend. That's going to make you an awful lot more secure. You'll have a bigger range of movement and you'll keep your trunk much more controlled. However, if your balance is feeling good, you can lift the underneath leg. Hand on the top hip. Or you can pop your hand in front. Just make sure you're doing a level that's challenging a little bit, but not so much that you're wobbling around all over the place. Okay, last 3, 2, 1. Underneath leg down, top leg down, and we're done with that side. Popping back onto our back. If you want to give your glutes a stretch on that side, cross the leg over, pull towards you, and you should feel that stretching through the right side of your hip, the muscles at the back there. Just going to do one more exercise before we finish, which is a shoulder bridge. Last little bit of work through the glutes, stretching out the front of the hip joints and some mobility for the spine. Moving our head cushion out of the way, feet a little bit closer towards our sit bones. We're taking a breath in. As you breathe out, flattening the lower back into the floor, squeezing your glutes, rolling all the way up into our bridge position. Taking a breath in at the top, breathing out, lowering all the way back down again. Through flat back position, let your glutes relax into your neutral. So try and go with a little bit of flow, breathing out to lift up, breath in to hold, breathe out to lower down, articulating every vertebra as you return back into neutral. 2 more. Breathing out to lift, breath in to hold, breathe out to lower back down again, and our last one. Breath in, breathing out. Okay. Thanks very much for joining us on our second summer workout of our workout series. Hope you've enjoyed that. Hope you feel you've worked those glutes, and we'll be seeing you again soon with another workout for you. Thanks very much.